Hello friends, and welcome to December in the Workshop. We are about to remount Juxtapose, a happenstance show that inspired by the shadow boxes of Joseph Cornell. And in the original run of the show, we had a moment where a comet streaks through the sky and sort of transforms into a human figure, spilling out into a human actor on stage. And the way that we achieved that in the first run was we had 3 illustrated panels on sticks that came through the sky, one as a comet, and then it would flip, and the next one would take over its place, and then that would flip, and then Gwen would continue the motion spilling out onto the stage. And we're doing that at Baltimore Theater Project the first 3 weekends of December. And we looked at it in the space, and the illustrations just aren't reading. It's a much bigger theater, so we took that opportunity to reimagine that moment. So then I thought, oh, what if it was just, a light on the end of a pole? So I made this mock-up, which is just a piece of 1/2-inch conduit with a lamp cord and socket and light bulb blue painters taped to it temporarily, and a plastic bag over the bulb to diffuse it a little bit. And when you plug it in, it sort of gives this nice diffused light, and the plastic bag makes it look a little less just like a light bulb. That's a little too light bulby, so I like the diffusedness of it. So now that the prototype works, I want to create the clean professional version of it that's a little more sturdy, that doesn't require another actor to unplug it to turn the light off. I want to make it so that it lasts and we don't have to keep doing these little repairs throughout the run. So the idea is to use this same piece of conduit, 1/2-inch conduit, and instead of having the cord on the outside taped to it, we'll have a light bulb socket that sort of sits on the end of it, and the wires running inside the conduit, which is what the conduit was made for. And then that will terminate in a little metal box that's made for conduit. It'll sit there, and then I think there's going to be another short piece that extends out the bottom so that the piece can be held, like that, but the switch being here, with there being a little more on the end right there.
Greetings, dwellers of the present. This is Alex from the future, and if you're receiving this message, then it means my experiment worked. The video you're about to watch contains amateur electrical work, and by no means should this be viewed as a tutorial or a suggestion for you to try amateur electrical work yourself. If you are going to attempt electrical work, make sure to educate yourself, as this is inherently dangerous and could prove fatal. This video should only be considered entertainment purposes and not educational. I can't control what happens to your future. Good luck, and I hope we meet someday.
So this piece is already a good length, but I have another short piece here that I'm going to cut 10 or 12 inches off of with my tubing cutter. And I think I'm going to need to create some sort of coupler that will transition from my waterproof outdoor socket to the end of the conduit, because it can't just sit there like that. That's unsupported. So what I'm thinking is I'll take some measurements and 3D print a little coupler that basically takes us from that size down to that size with a little bit of gap in between it. So let's try it. This tubing cutter is great, but whenever you cut tubing like that, it leaves a sharp little burr on the inside of there. And when you run wire through that, that could cut it, and then you have an electrical short. So you really want to use a deburring tool to take that burr off, chamfer the inside edges so that it has a nice smooth transition and you won't cut yourself or the wire. These project boxes are perfect for this kind of application. That's what they were made for. They have these little half-inch knockouts. So I've already installed one using these compression connectors. One side screws in tight to the box, and the other side has this compression nut that tightens around the pipe really tight. So I'm going to add one here for the rest of the long conduit coming out. And then I think on the back here, I'm going to knock this one out so that our power cable can run out of the back, because I don't want it coming out of the bottom so that when it sits on the floor, it crushes it or possibly cuts it. Ta-da! That feels nice and solid. Feels very much like a post-apocalyptic weapon now. Zap, zap, zap. Get away, mutant. This is our land. Our gasoline. Okay, we need to take a break now to go inside to model up how we're going to transition from this to this. Revolve these three faces around that axle, around that axis. And that's sort of representing our conduit space and socket. We'll say project bodies, this body. So now we have that geometry. We basically want to offset this line like that. Let's just do like a 1 millimeter offset. So that's our part. Save as mesh. Send that to Cura, which is our slicing program. Beautiful. Because this is such a small little ring, build plate adhesion, I think I want to do a brim. It'll generate this little blue brim to help it adhere to the plate. And we can click on load and print. Hey, we got an achievement. Cute. And then we'll be back in about an hour. Moment of truth. Testing the conduit side, which is going to be the harder side. Ooh, perfetto. Molto bene. Now let's test the light bulb holder. And, ooh, que bella. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you couldn't ask for a better fit. Nice smooth transition, which means we can jump to the next part and start wiring this up and take it back out to the garage. I'm going to use a little of this 5-minute epoxy to connect our coupler onto this conduit. This epoxy may be on its last legs. Just do a little on the inside. Nice and clean. Molto bene. These yellow wire nuts are causing too much of a problem.
to get down in that conduit. So I'm going to switch them out for this slightly smaller wire nut. Let's get into that point of the project where I just wish it was done for the night. But we got a show tomorrow, and I'm hoping the whole thing doesn't just electrocute me. Let's try that. Pull from the inside a little bit. Get my good side. Okay, I think that's good. Look at that, not too bad. Now we need to install our switch here and pop out another little access panel for our cord. With electrical stuff, at least in the States, the cords are usually color-coded, black, white, and green, with your black being your hot wire, yellow being your neutral wire, and your green being your ground wire. But when you get a extension cord or a lamp cord, they're not always color-coded because they're not really intended to be consumer serviced. But the green, if there is a green, it's going to be ground, or oftentimes it just will be unshielded copper as your ground. And then a good way to identify it, there'll be a little bit of either ribbon that's stamped into the shielding on your cord, or it'll have information stamped on there about what gauge it is, etc. The identified side is the neutral side. And this is always the part in the project that I Google that to make sure that that's correct. And that is correct. And when you're installing a switch, like a light switch or a little toggle switch, you want it to interrupt the hot side, the black wire, with your neutral wire just running constant. And now would be a great time to commit to where that extension cord is going to come out of. And so if I'm holding it like this with the switch towards me so I can toggle it on and off like that, I think I want the cord coming out from the bottom so that it can maybe go along the handle for a little bit, or even if it's just down that way. If it's coming out of the back, then it's coming out and down. I want it to have a nice smooth transition to the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and break that one out. My favorite Where's Waldo game when watching maker videos is trying to find out when the Band-Aid showed up during the build. Something I hadn't planned on is as this exits, it can't just be jingling around in there, and also there's a burr on the inside. I need to see if I have a wire clamp thingy that goes in that hole, which I don't. It's too late to run out to Home Depot now, but I do have an extra little connector. It's not a crimp connector like these ones. It's a set screw one, but I'm going to attach it in there, run my wire through, and then I'll sort of pack it out on either side with maybe some EVA foam or cork and tape everything to sort of secure it. Oh yeah, I'll have tons of room. Famous last words. So we're going to start by adding a little knot to help us not untie or pull out. I'm going to make a little U-shaped hook in our wire. That's going to go in the same direction that this screw tightens, so that as it tightens, it doesn't push the wire out, it pulls it in. On is up. I'm going to want to flick it that way to turn it off, which means now I need my identified wire, which is this one, can get connected to the white here. White to white, you'll be all right. White to black, let's have a snack. If this doesn't work, you can play this video at my funeral. He died as he lived, mucking about in the workshop. Form a loop. Well, that's good contact. I need 2 more armpits. Or 1 clean table. But I may have better luck getting the armpits. Okay. We need to put some electrical tape over these because we don't want that shorting out. Ooh, just in time on this roll too. Look at that. Fate's telling me it's time to call it a night. Those screws look like they're gonna be hitting our pipe. What are we gonna do about that? Maybe cut the screws down? What could go wrong? But I'm only making 1 of these. Yeah.
What are you up to?
I'm working on this light stick.
Okay. Well, just a heads up, it's 11:13.
Oh, thank. An easy, quick project. Now, 11:13 at night. Let's get some gloves on in case we get a little zapped. We got a light bulb on a stick. Nothing popped, although that's supposed to be, oh, light switch is on. Great. Look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad, isn't it? What I'm worried about is this falling and breaking. This is an LED light, so it has a a plastic outside, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it still might crack. But I got one of these cages to put on the outside of the light, and then we can wrap that in paper or whatever afterwards to give it that volume that the plastic bag was doing earlier. But hey, I'm not dead. And the little cherry on top, I found this little cane tip, that you can put on either a cane or a chair leg that I can pop on the bottom of there so that when it's sitting, leaning against the wall, it's got a nice firm surface. It's not going to get messed up. Hooray! Thanks for joining along with this sort of last-minute build. Shows like this are constantly needing new little things built and new little things rebuilt. So even when it feels like the show is basically done, there's always more to do. So thank you for your support in the constant work.